Okay. So now just tell me. Now I'm not. I'm not asking you to tell me something from my previous classes. I'm just asking you as to what is your opinion, what is your understanding of the word religion.
Belief or worship of a god.
Very good. So is it just belief uh, and believing in a God? Is it anything else?
Following the customs and rituals of the following religion.
That's also religion. Okay, very good. May I know the names of both the students who answered me first? And
Sanjana sir.
Sanjana, very good. And the other girl,
Kirti, sir.
Kirti, very good. So it seems only two girls from your class understand, or they have an idea as to what religion is. Others, they are say they don't have any idea. Okay. So religion is, as you are saying, it's believing in a God and practicing some rituals or customs or traditions. Okay, that's what the gist answer. If I combine both the answers, that's what the outcome is. Is that all? Anyone else wants to share anything? Do you have any other
Way of
opinion about
living life.
way of living life? Very good. Okay. Now I have a question for you. Rule number 61. Nagiredi, or what is your
Yes,
name?
yes.
Yeah. So Nagiredi, all of three, you are right. But I have question to Nagiredi. Why do you think that, or how you are going to substantiate your statement that it is a way of living?
Yes, sir. When I think about religion, some people in religion we have some set of rules, sir, that gave us some standards in living. For example, we Hindus pray early in the morning to the sun. Means
Correct.
it became some part in our life, sir. So that's why I said it is some part of our life.
Right. You are right. 100% right. But do you have you ever thought that why do we have that kind of practices, or rituals, or customs? Is there any rationality? Say, is it rational? Do you have any rational idea or belief, thought behind it, or is it just a blind belief?
Some ancient great philosophers who studied science and who want people also to practice such good habits and to make them follow that. And I mean, they put in all those things in this religion and they said it like that.
Very good, great. I'm really happy for this answer. Right. Yeah, whatever Nagiredi has said is absolutely right. Uh, I don't differ with any of his statements, but I want to throw some light on those statements. I want to explain them again in a different way, or the way which I understand them. So religion, as you have understood, it's all right. And say all of your statements are, all of your answers, beliefs are correct. It's believing a God. It's believing. It's practicing few things, uh, customs, everything. And what Nagiredi said is also right. But which one? For example, if I give you a solution, a problem, all the solutions cannot be right. If all are giving the same solution, then it can be right or wrong. But if people are giving different solutions, and I'm saying all the solutions are right, how can it be? It can be. So let us understand, try to understand this word religion first. Religion, as Nagiredi rightly said, it is those ancient scholars, they might not have studied science. For example, if 2 plus 2 is 4, if I say in some other language, char, nalu, it doesn't change anything. I am conveying the same message in another language. I am using a different word. That's it. But it's I'm not changing any meaning. Right? Meaning is same. But the words that I am using are different. right? In the same way, the religions may, I'm saying different religions may have, may be showing you, or uh, if you look them from the outside, they may look different, but the destination is same. What is it? Generally, you take any religion, people what is their ultimate aim? Their ultimate aim is to break the vicious circle of life and death, right? What they want to do? They want to, uh, they don't want to take birth again to face the good or bad consequences, or the consequences of good things or good deeds or bad deeds. They just want to break this vicious circle. At least, if not all, most of the people, let it be any religion, they want to um, get united and say the supreme, the aim of the ultimate aim of the soul is to become part of the supreme soul. That is the idea. If that is the idea, if that is what is correct, then why do we have this many different kinds of ideas or opinions? First of all, religion is, it has evolved. It's not just evolved in a one day, but it has evolved over a period of time. Then why people have different religions? If when we believe that it is an idea, it's a belief, it's a thought, or it's some understanding, some scholarly persons have understood, then why do they have different understandings? The answer is very simple. You take different religions. These religions generally, except Buddhism, Jainism, I don't personally feel that they are separate religions. Buddhism, Jainism, they are also part of Hinduism. Sikhism is also part of Hinduism. But when it comes to religions which have evolved in different places, like you take Islam, you take Shintoism, you take Christianity, you take what is this? Chandavesta is, um, who follows Chandavesta? What is Zoroastrianism? Okay, so these religions have evolved in different places. Now, if you take Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, and Hinduism, why am I saying that they are all same, one and the same? Because many of the things, many of their basic beliefs are same. Hinduism talks about reincarnation. Hinduism talks about punya and papa. This Buddhism also believes in reincarnation, and same talks about punya and papa. Jainism also does the same. Sikhism, which is which is of recent origin. Okay, when was, I say, from what time this Sikhism came into existence? From the time of Guru Nanak. Before that, there was no Sikhism. Am I right? Do you know that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, what was he following Guru Nanak? He was also a born Hindu, or he was following Hinduism. Then he thought of new things. He understood the things in a different way, and he come up with new ideas. So, what I'm trying to tell you is, religions which have evolved in a one particular place, their basic idea, basic principles are same. Okay, so basing on this idea, I can say that religion is, as rightly identified by Nagarati, it is not something which has evolved over in a single day, but it has evolved over a period of time. And how? Because from the understanding of people, what have they understood? They have observed the nature, they have observed their surroundings, they have observed the political, social situations. From that comes these beliefs. That's how religion has evolved. For example, you take Arabs, they live in hot deserts, so it has become part of their culture or traditions or religion to wear a white colored dress from top to bottom, which will cover their body. They also wear something like a parda. What do we call it? I don't know what do they call it, but it is like pagdi. They wear it on the head. Why? Because to save, to protect themselves from the scorching heat of the sun. and they knew that white cloth will reflect the sunshine or the heat at least. That's how they can say whatever best they can do is with white cloth, white color. That has become part of their religion. Now we live in a moderate temperate zone, wherein we have equal, say for some time, for some period of the year we see cold weather, for some time of the period we see hot weather, for some time of the period it's rainy season, and nothing, so they are not extremes. So we have accordingly evolved. For example, we don't wear any such thing. We simply use a long unstitched single cloth to cover lower part of the body, and then we use another cloth to cover our 1 minute students. సార్ నేను క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను మళ్ళీ మాట్లాడతాను. So what I say is, these religious beliefs or religions are also ideas which have evolved from the ideas or understanding of intellectual persons. They have understood the political, the social, and as I said, the geographical and weather conditions, and they have come up with some solutions how to keep ourselves safe. And they have said in an indirect way. They did not say that it is science. They simply said it is religion, dharma, which is to be followed. If you don't follow it, what will happen? So people may or may not understand. Everyone will not have the same intellectual capacity. So what they did, they want everyone to follow it because they want everyone to be safe. So they said, if you don't follow it, something wrong will happen. At least with that fear, the person who is not having belief in these things will also have some faith and say, if not belief, at least for the sake of fear of facing something wrong or bad in his life, he'll follow it. With that idea, they have introduced many things. And but as the time passed on, people started practicing those things without understanding them. That's how many wrong things have become part of the religion. But when originally people have given these ideas, when originally this kind of and say people started spreading these ideas, which we now know as religion. 1 minute, students. Yeah. So which has those wrong ideas, wrong beliefs, which and say which without understanding people started practicing, they have become part of religion. You take any religion. That is why I always say, first of all, we should know, we should have first-hand understanding of as to what is religion. So in this chapter, we'll be discussing about the religion and the philosophy, the religion and philosophy, how these things were in different periods of time, as we have discussed in the first chapter. But actually, this is where we will be discussing how the people were in different parts of time. Like, for example, in how were the people in ancient era, how were the people in medieval era, how the people are in modern era. But here our observation or discussion will be limited to the 2 points, that is religion and philosophy. Right? Have you understood anything? Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now can anyone tell me what religion is? What's your understanding? I want rule number 89 to tell me. Are you online? Rule number 89?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what do you understand?
What religion, sir?
Yeah. What do you believe?
All I think many religions came from Hinduism, like Jainism, Sikhism, Buddhism. They are different in religions, but their beliefs are same, sir.
Okay, very good. Anyone else? Right. Okay, so let us continue this discussion. So this religion in Indian context, people believe it to be a science of soul. And to understand this science of soul, that is religion, we have, and say, to understand the foundations of this religion. What are the foundations? Morality, ethics are the foundations of this religion. Okay, from the beginning, we all know that religion had played an important role in our lives. Even if you observe, do you know what is the reason for the Sepoy mutiny? Why Sepoys, that is the soldiers, they have, say, resorted to the mutiny revolution? What is Sepoy mutiny? Do you have any idea at least? Rule number 11, are you online? Not 11, no, it's BBC, sorry, B section, no? So 111, 111, are you online? Rule number 111, left, okay, 113, 113, are you online?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So do you know what is Sepoy mutiny? Or
No, sir.
no? Okay. What has happened in 1857? 113, please. What is the importance of 1857 in Indian history? One one three, are you online?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What is the importance of 1857 here? First war of independence.
Sir.
Okay. So I'll continue instead of asking questions. I'll learn. So religion is actually very important, as I was saying, and let me first answer you this question and say to my question, then I'll continue. It is Sipai Mutiny, known as our first war of independence, which started because Hindus and Muslims, they were not ready to bite a bullet. Actually, Britishers have introduced a new bullet in those days, and to use that bullet or to insert that bullet into the gun, they have to first bite it and remove the cap or the cover of that bullet, which was actually waxed. It was said, or it is believed, I don't know whether it is a rumor or really true, but in those days, people were given to understand that it is the bullet was waxed with the what should I say, the cow and pig's fat.
Fact.
Yeah. So they were not ready to buy it. This reason, this small reason, led to a big revolution. And these are the religious beliefs in Hindus and Muslims. Muslims were not ready to, I'm saying religiously, they don't eat pig, and Hindus, they don't eat cow. So biting cow fat or pig fat, it is something which they could not bear it. So revolution, not leave it. So religion, religious ideas, thoughts, practices, okay, they are different among different religions. So when it comes to India, we observe that the religion of the people who are living in India has always changed. It's not static. In our comparative study also, we'll see the same. Or else we have already discussed a few points. For example, in the Indus Valley civilization, people were they don't have any kind of religion, but if there is any, they were just worshipping the Mother Nature for its reproductive capacity. They were worshipping Pashupatinath. This is what we know. When it comes to Vedic culture, we say that they were worshipping the forces of nature. Like that, things have always been changing. Okay, from time to time. And in the same way, their philosophical ideas, Indian sages, rishis or munis, whatever we call them, they have come up with new ideas which we started following as Sanatana Dharma. And when Europeans started coming to India, that is not Britishers, but from the time of Alexander, then people started identifying these beliefs, these practices, which were actually the brainchild of some sages, as Hindu Dharma. They couldn't pronounce Sindhu, and the people of Sindhu, the practices of people of Sindhu. So somehow the word has come into existence, Hindu. Okay, so this is actually the introduction to the religion, the word. This is my understanding of it. Now let us see what is the understanding of some Westerners. Herbert Spencer is a famous person. So let us see what he thinks about the philosophy, what is his idea. He says that the philosophy must give a theory which will be simplest in its nature and at the same time will explain all the principles which are left as insoluble by science. Okay, I hope you have understood. He's saying that philosophy must give a theory which should be simple to understand and which should give all answers to all those things which are insoluble by any science. And at the same time, this philosophy will harmonize with ultimate consciousness of science, conclusions of science, as well as establish a religion which is universal and is not limited by sects or doctrines or dogmas. You'll also find Swami Vivekananda saying something like this. When we are concerned with philosophy as a science, it means a set of thoughts put into a system such that one of them does not contradict another in the set and the entire set as a whole coherent. And he continues, science means knowledge partially unified, while philosophy means knowledge completely unified. Beyond the knowable is the unknowable, but in that realm of unknowable laid the solutions of all the principles regarding the nature of soul, of heavens, of God, and everything. Herbert Spencer. This is the understanding of Western philosopher Herbert Spencer. Now let us see what is, from Indian context, what is religion, how the religion was. Then let us try to define as to what is philosophy, what is religion. So how are the things in pre-Vedic religion? We had discussions. Do you remember anything? Oh, I thought not to ask you people anything. Anyhow, you people won't respond. Okay. So we have constructed the history basing on many things. Like, as I said, we have some archaeological proofs, we have some literary proofs. Okay. So from archaeological findings in the proto-historic sites, we can say that people believed in they were having some kind of beliefs, because we have found that they were conducting some kind of rituals. Some ritualistic process or procedures were there. We can see that. Okay, it appears that there were people who believed in some kind of God, or they were having some kind of religious beliefs. Okay, how can we say that? As I told you, we have found, even though we don't have any literature from the time of Indus Valley civilization, but still we have found seals on which you can see a person sitting in yogic posture surrounded by animals, which we started calling him Pashupati. Okay. Students, are you online? Are you listening?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
please answer your roll call. 61,
Present, sir.
62. దీనికి కూడా ఎంతసేపు ఆలోచించి చెప్పడానికి ఏముందండి? 61, 62 అంటే ఉంటే ఎస్ అనండి, లేకుంటే కాము ఉండండి. ఐఎమ్ సే ఎట్లా ఉంటారు అనుకోండి, చెప్పలేరు. 63,
Present, sir.
64,
Present,
65,
Present,
65,
sir.
66,
Present, sir.
67, 68,
Present,
69.
sir. 67 present. 68 present, sir.
1 minute. 67 ఉన్నారా? Are you there? 67? No. 68.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Present, sir. 68.
First, I am asking for the roll number, about the roll number 67. Is he or she there in the class? 67? Yes. Okay. Then 68,
Present, sir.
69,
69 present, sir.
70,
Present,
Seven-
sir. 70.
71,
Present, sir.
72,
Present, sir.
73, 74, 75,
Present, sir.
76,
Present, sir.
77,
Present, sir.
78, 70,
Present, sir.
78, okay. 79, 80,
Present, sir.
80 is present. 81, 82,
Present, sir.
83, 84,
Present, sir.
85,
Present, sir.
86, 87,
Present, sir.
88,
Present, sir.
89,
89 present, sir.
90,
Yes, sir.
91, 90,
Present, sir.
okay. 91 is also present. 90, 92, 93, 94,
Present, sir.
93 is present. 94 is also present. Okay. 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100,
100 present, sir.
101,
Present, sir.
Present.
74. మరి ఎందుకు చెప్పట్లే అండి?
సార్ నేను మళ్ళీ రీజాయిన్ అయ్యా సార్, కాల్ వచ్చింది లాస్ట్ 5
Okay.
minutes.
సరే. 101,
Present, sir.
yeah, 102, 103, 104,
Present, sir.
105,
Present, sir.
106,
Present, sir.
107, 108,
Present, sir.
109,
Present, sir.
110,
Present, sir.
111,
Present, sir.
112,
Present, sir.
113,
Present, sir.
114, 115, 116,
Yes, sir.
117,
Present, sir.
117, okay, 118,
Present, sir.
yeah, 118 is also present.
Present.
Okay, 119,
Yes, sir.
120, no, okay, yeah. So with the help of archaeology, we have found some proofs basing on which we can say that the people who lived in India, in Indian subcontinent, 2000, 3000 years ago, were having some kind of religious beliefs. How can we say? As I said, we have proof of coins, numismatics. It's not only the coins, but archaeologists also say that in those days, as I said, we have talked about great bath in Harappa. So why do they need a great bath? And they are sure that definitely it's not for taking, or it's not like a swimming pool. They never used it for recreation or enjoyment. It was for some religious purposes. That's what the archaeologists and historians believe. So they said that they had some kind of religion. And after them, after the Indus Valley civilization comes the Vedic culture. Vedic culture, as I said, they had, say, civilization wise, that means construction, cities, or facilities wise, these people, Vedic culture people, were not as developed as the Harappans were, or Indus Valley people were. But language, philosophy, that is intellectual, these things wise, they are very well developed. They had a perfect language, well developed language, and they had all these Vedas. Because of these Vedas, only the culture has got the name Vedic culture. And if you read the Vedas, then you will understand that they were worshipping the forces of nature with different names. Like as I said, Indra, Varuna, Agni, Surya, these Rudra were the people who were worshipped. Okay. And Rigveda, it speaks about all these gods. I told you that many of the Rigvedic hymns are in praise of whom? Students, many of the Rigvedic hymns are in praise of. I remember telling this in each and every class. It was in praise of Indra. Okay, so they had that kind of beliefs. Samaveda and Yajurveda, they talk about different things. As I said, Samaveda, it speaks about the music, and not only music, but how to sing the hymns. At various occasions, there was special ragas or special tunes which are to be followed. And Yajurveda, do you remember the meaning of Yajurveda? Yajus is sacrificial ritual. Students, I wonder what you are going to write in your examination. Do you know that you have first internal?
Yes, sir.
From when?
26.
So if you are like this, then what are you going to do in your examination? Okay, God and yourself should know what you are going to do in the examination. I am doing my best, and I am asking you every time to ask me questions, or if you are not following me, just let me know. Then you people say, okay, we are following, but you don't answer. Once again, I am telling you, students, it's a mandatory course, compulsory. You have to get passing marks. Otherwise, of course, it will not be added in the grades. But you have to pass the examination. Okay, it's up to you. But once again, I am telling you, you can interrupt me at any time during my sessions and ask me relevant questions. If you have any doubts, then also you can interrupt me. Don't hesitate. So, we have proofs to say that the Vedic culture people were worshipping the force of nature in the form of gods like Varuna, Agni, Surya, Indra, and Rudra. Okay, and as I told you, Rig Veda, it speaks of and it gives you hymns, and Yajurveda, it tells you how to put into practice the theoretical knowledge that you have learned, and Samaveda is all about how to sing the hymns in various occasions. Okay, so by seeing that, I'm saying by understanding that the people were worshipping different gods, we can say that it is polytheism. Poly is many. Polytheism means worshipping many gods. Okay, and after some time, this idea was challenged by monotheists. what is meant by polytheism and what is monotheism? Poly is plural, having many gods. Monotheism is one single god. This is how the religious beliefs of the people of uh, ancient era were. Okay, the Aranyakas and Upanishads. What are these Upanishads and Aranyakas? Parts of Vedas. Okay, they have given them the people the knowledge or the answers that they require, and it gave them a progressive outlook of life. Okay, the Upanishads and Aranyakas or whatever it is, the literature which is available, the Vedas from the beginning of the ancient era or in the medieval periods of ancient era. We can guess many things as to how their religious beliefs were, what they were doing, and do they have knowledge of any metaphysical concepts. So they know many things, and they were following many things. Okay, but the striking feature, as I said, is performing yajnas, yagas. Okay, and you take anything. For example, if they need rain, there was a Varuna Yaga. If they need children, Putrakameshti. Like this was the religion. People were having belief in Vedas and they were leading their life in accordance to Vedas. Then you know the history, what happened after some time. Students, after Vedic culture comes Are you online?
Yes, sir.
So do you remember I was telling you in while discussing first unit that people got mixed up with this kind of rituals and they have started following what? I said I discussed this point in the while discussing the first unit. I told you that people they were looking for some other ideas or some different things which can give them, which can show them the way to attain moksha very easily. And when Gautama Buddha or Vardhamana Mahavira have come up with their own ideas, own beliefs, then people readily accepted it. They have discussed all these things. Okay. So religious movements associated with persons like Mahavira, Gautama Buddha, uh, they were actually about the first millennium. Okay, first 1,000 years, or in between somewhere this was. So anyhow, we know the years exactly. Somewhere around 540, 530. That was the time. So people started beliefs, encouraging beliefs against the Vedas. But anyhow, some of the Orthodox people who were believing in Vedas, they were practicing their own rituals and all those things. Or they were living their life in accordance with the Vedas, according to Vedic tradition. Okay. But these new ideas have also come up, evolved, and people readily accepted these new ideas. Like Buddhism, Jainism, Charvaka philosophy also. That's why in these beliefs, we can say we had different systems. Okay, theistic, atheistic. What is theistic?
Who believes in God?
Pardon? What is theistic?
Who
Who does
believes
believe
in
in God?
God?
Yeah, believing in God, theism. But theism, of course, when you say believing in God, then atheism means not believing in God. But does it have any relevance to India? Do these words have any relevance to India? What is the meaning, or how do we convey this theism and atheistic and theistic? మనకు ఈ థీజం థీస్టిక్ అనే పదానికి సమానమైన పదాలు తెలుగులో ఉన్నాయా?
Astic something.
వెరీ గుడ్. ఆస్తికుడు నాస్తికుడు అంటారు. థీస్టిక్ ఇస్ ఆస్తికుడు, అథీస్ట్ ఆర్ అథీస్టిక్ ఇస్ నాస్తికుడు. సో నౌ అగైన్ దీస్ వర్డ్స్ కమ్ ఫ్రమ్ సాంస్క్రిట్. అస్థి అంటే ఉన్నది అని అర్థం, విచ్ మీన్స్ ఎస్ దేర్ ఈస్ సంథింగ్ ఇస్ దేర్. నా అస్థి, there is nothing. So one who believe in asti, that there is something, is called astikudu, a person who is believing in asti, that there is something. And a person who is not believing in God, na asti, there is nothing, nastikudu. Right? Again, these are the Sanskrit words. So here when we use the word theist and atheist, you mean that theist is the person who believes in God and atheist is person who doesn't believe in God. But in Hinduism it's not like that. Astikudu ante దేవుడు ఉన్నాడు అని, నాస్తికుడు అంటే దేవుడు లేడని కాదు. It doesn't mean that a person the person who is known as astika is believing in God or believes that God is existing, and nastika doesn't believe in God. No, we don't use these words with that meaning. The correct meaning is we consider Vedas as the body of knowledge. We revere them, we worship them. We have a great reverence towards these bodies of knowledge, that is Vedas, 4 Vedas. Right? So Astika is a person who believes in the infallibility of Vedas. There is no question of believing in God or saying that God exists or God doesn't exist. No. Anyone can have any kind of idea. We never question their ideas, their personal opinions. That is the greatness of India. From the time of our ancestors, even today, we have not questioned and we should not question what is their personal opinion, whether they believe that God exists or not. It's their own belief. But what have we given importance to? We have given importance, utmost importance, to the faith in Vedas. So what is the infallibility of Vedas? If you are believing it, you are an astika, that Vedas are infallible. Infallible are those things which can never go wrong. That means if somebody is believing that yes, Vedas are correct, he is astika. If somebody believes Vedas is not correct, there are many things which are wrong in Vedas, then he is nastika. We have only this system. We never questioned about the personal faith of any individual. We were very liberal thinkers, people very liberal. They accepted all the kinds of ideas. That's why I gave you example. They believed in Vedic culture for some time, and when new ideas like Buddhism, Jainism came, they also believed in Buddhism, Jainism. And when Charvaka, a person who was contemporary of this Buddha and Jaina, he said there is nothing like soul and supreme soul, that is God, and there is nothing like previous birth and next birth, or no birth before the no life before the birth and no life after the death. That's what they directly said. We have respected them also. So we always left it to the individual whether to believe in God or not. But we have strongly believed in the infallibility, that is in the correctness of Vedas from the beginning. So in our philosophy, in our religion, when we use these words astika and nastika, it doesn't mean that astika is a person who is a believer in God and nastika is non-believer. No, it means a person who is believing that the Vedas are infallible and a person who is not believing Vedas to be infallible. That's it. I hope you have understood me. Are you following me? Got the point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is what about astika and nastika. Now you have understood 2 words. Now let us once again let me tell you that however Buddhism and Jainism How can I say that they are part and parcel of Hinduism? Because I've given you proofs. They believe in many things which are actually the theories or which are part of this Hindu religion. What are they? For example, Karma Siddhanta. What is Karma Siddhanta? What is Karma Siddhanta, students? Karma Siddhanta is very simple. If you attend the classes and if you pay attention, if you write notes or if you follow the notes, then you'll get some idea as to what the subject is, and then at the time of examination you'll pass. If you don't listen to the class, if you are not attentive in the classroom, and if you don't read the notes, if you don't prepare yourself for the examinations, then you will definitely fail the examination. Fail in the examination. That is what is karma. To convey, in other words, karma is reaping the fruits of our past deeds. If we do good, or if we have done something good in the past, then whatever we are going to get in the future, that will be good. If we have done something wrong, then wrong things will happen with us. That's what is the karma philosophy. Following me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this karma philosophy is also believed by the Jainists and Buddhists. And as we believed in the reincarnation, these the two religions also believe in reincarnation. So there are many things which they have actually taken from the Hinduism, but still they rejected Hinduism. That is the wonderful thing. And even after that, we did nothing. I'm saying our ancestors, they never said anything. Is it possible in present day? Can we accept somebody who is of different opinion, who is not in line with our opinion, who is not accepting our opinions? We don't. I'm saying we don't even argue with them that we are right. We just start fighting with them. That is the situation, present day situation. So, in those days, people were really, I'm saying, liberal, understanding, and they gave utmost importance to individual beliefs. Okay, so we can say that the philosophical ideas or the beliefs can be categorized into two broad groups. One is those who believe theistic religions, the God, and the other kind is different kinds of beliefs, and that means unorthodox. Okay, and some folk cults, that means those people who are not living in cities and villages, those who are living in somewhere in forests, tribal areas, they had their own practices, they had their own rituals, primitive religious beliefs. Okay, so for example, if I have to tell you, I can talk about uh, Shaivam, Vaishnavam, Shakteyam. These were the different types of beliefs in theistic beliefs. That means they believed it, they first of all believe that there is a God, and they say that this God is Shiva only, that is Shaivam. This God is Vishnu only, that is Vaishnavism. This God is, I'm saying God is Kali or something, that is Shakteyam. Garhapatyam. They believe in Lord Ganapati. Like that, there are different beliefs. Okay, and people started fighting on the name of these religions also. Shaivites fight with Vaishnavites, fought with Shaivites. Both of them fought with Shakteyas. All of them fought with Garhapatya. These kinds of things have happened, but they never understood that why we are doing like this. What is the reason behind our saying that we are Vaishnavites, we are Shaivites, we are Shakteyas or Garhapatyas? They never try to understand. Even we people are doing the same thing. Apart from this religion and religious beliefs, we can also say that in the latter Vedic period, that is, Vedas have evolved, and people who could not practice rituals, they have also understood something different. They have come up with new ideas like Gautama Buddha and Vardhamana Mahavira. At that time, or by that time, people have also tried to understand or explain whatever their understanding was in different ways. So the Vedic, whatever is said in Vedas, people have understood, and their understanding can be grouped into six different groups, 6 different categories. These are called darshanas. Darshana is the equivalent word of this word darshana in English is philosophy. What is the students? What is the meaning of the word philosophy? Students,
Yes, sir.
yeah, I am asking you something. I know anyhow that you people are not listening, but it's my habit, bad habit, which I'm going to definitely change. So, what question did I ask you?
Study of nature, sir.
Not just a study of nature, but it is study of fundamentals of nature. Or you take any, it's not only just nature. You take any body of knowledge. If you are studying that particular body of knowledge as to from where it has evolved, what are its sources, what is the reality, like that. So you will find this definition in Google. Nothing great in it. If you don't know, then there is no problem. You can Google it, you will find the same definition. But the philosophy in India, we have a different meaning altogether. I'm saying the equivalent word in Sanskrit is darshana, darshana shastra. Philosophy is known as darshana shastra in Sanskrit, which really conveys a meaning. What is darshana? What have you ever heard this word darshana? మీరు ఎప్పుడైనా ఈ దర్శన అనే పదాన్ని విన్నారా? ఈ దర్శన అనే పదానికి అర్థం చెప్పగలరా? లేదా మీకేమైనా అర్థమైందా? దట్ ఈస్ మై క్వశ్చన్. ఎప్పుడైనా ఈ పదం విన్నారా స్టూడెంట్స్? హ్యావ్ యూ ఎవర్ హర్డ్ దిస్ వర్డ్ దర్శనం?
No, sir. No, sir.
దర్శనం వినలేదా? వామ్మో, దర్శనం వినకపోవడం. మీరు గుడికి వెళ్ళారు ఎప్పుడైనా?
Darshana or darshanam, sir?
సేమ్, దర్శన ఆర్ దర్శనం సేమ్. దర్శనం లేదా దర్శన, ఇంగ్లీష్ లో పాష్ గా దర్శన అంటాం, అసలైతే దర్శనము, దర్శన శాస్త్రము అని తెలుగులో అంటారు, ఇంగ్లీష్ లో దర్శనాస్. సో మీకు ఈ దర్శన అనే పదం ఎక్కడైనా విడబడిందా అని నేను అడిగాను. దాని తర్వాత హింట్ కూడా ఇచ్చాను. ఎప్పుడైనా గుడికి వెళ్ళారా? గుడికి వెళ్తే ఏం చేస్తారు? గుడికి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు దేవుడి దర్శనం అయిందా అని అడుగుతారా?
Yes, sir.
సో దాని అర్థం ఏంటి? వాట్ డస్ ఇట్ మీన్? దర్శన మీన్స్ చూడడం. దేవుణ్ణి చూసారా అని అంటే మనం దేవుణ్ణి చూసామని చెప్తాం. నిజానికి మనం దేవుడి విగ్రహాన్ని చూస్తాం, ఓకే, ఏదో ఒకటి చూసామని. ఆర్ యూ ఫాలోయింగ్ మీ? సో దర్శన మీన్స్ having taking a look at something or understanding it in a other sense. So we actually, our ancestors, they have tried to understand the nature, the ultimate reality, the ultimate truth, or they have tried to know as to why. I have discussed all these things in the first chapter itself, as to why this kind of variety, right? That's why this kind of thinking has got the name darshanas, shastra or darshanas. They have seen the nature, they have seen the variety of life forms, and they have tried to understand it. And this understanding can be grouped broadly into 6 groups. Whatever, so it's not that we have only one scholar. There were many people who were really having intellectual capacity, and they have tried to know in their own way as to what is the reality, how come these things are in existence, what is the source for the existence of this kind of life forms, this many kinds of life forms. So they have, and what is this kind of observation, what do we call it? ఇట్లాంటి అబ్జర్వేషన్ ని మనం ఏమంటామండి మోడర్న్ డేలో? ఇట్స్ రీసెర్చ్. ఇప్పుడు ఆ పని చేస్తే ఒక పిహెచ్డి వస్తుంది. మీరు ఏదైనా ఒక విషయాన్ని తీసుకొని దాని రూట్ కాజ్ అనాలిసిస్ చేసేసి ఓకే దిస్ ఇస్ ది రీజన్ అండ్ దిస్ ఇస్ ది ప్రాబ్లం, దిస్ ఇస్ ది సొల్యూషన్, ఇలా మీరు చెప్పుకుంటూ పోతే మీకు పిహెచ్డి ఇచ్చేస్తారు. Sometimes you people react properly, you give all the answers, you say that you are an answer, you show that you are in the class. Sometimes you people don't speak up, you keep quiet. I'm in a dilemma actually whether you people are listening to me or not. If you are listening, then are you following me or not? Students, it's not mathematics, it's not physics, it's a general subject. Until unless you people are involved, I cannot express myself properly. Otherwise it's like just giving you the points or reading out notes. And for this you don't need a teacher. I can provide you notes and you can read on your own. Do you want me to do that? Anyhow, notes is available in the Google Classroom, you can read it. I'll start taking classes. Students, if you are really not interested in responding to me, don't join the class. Notes I have made it available in the Google Classroom. You just go through the notes. Why should I unnecessarily try to explain when your people are not responding, not listening? Even after this, nobody's taking pain to respond. They don't even, you people don't even feel that it is minimum courtesy.
We are listening, sir.
Then don't you get any doubt, or don't you get any don't you need any further clarification or information? Is it that whatever I say you are just listening and following? Is it that easy, or am I that correct? Do you feel that I'm saying, am I that good in explaining the things? Then it is good, okay, but I should know it. I need some feedback. So the understanding or the observation of the people of India, our ancestors, can be grouped into 6 groups. All the people, I don't mean that all the people have understood the when they have done their research, when they try to know the ultimate reality, ultimate truth, are they when they weren't when they were in search of the to know what is the truth, reality, or they were actually trying to gain knowledge, then I'm not saying that all of them they have got the same answers, the same solution, or they have understood in the same sense. No, but the understanding of different peoples was in different way. But if we have to group them, we can group them into 6 groups. These groups, each and every group, that is group 1, group 2, group 3, they have got separate names, and together these 6 groups are known as Shat Darshanas. Shat is 6 darshanas, 6 ways of understanding the things, or we can say 6 philosophies, 6 beliefs, 6 understandings, 6 schools of thought. Okay, so in my next class we'll continue to discuss as to what these 6 schools of thought are and what is their understanding. So anyhow, I don't know whether you believe in thanking me or not, but I thank you at least for not disturbing the class. I don't know whether you have patiently heard the class or not, but you have not disturbed. For that, I thank you all. Thank you, class. We'll meet again in my next class.
Thank you,
Sir?
sir.
Yeah.